All right, no secret, I'm a big fan of 300 Winchester Magnum cartridge. Here's what I'm not a fan about. It requires a very big receiver, which typically means a very heavy weapon. Now, when you're shooting a 300 Winchester Magnum, that heavy rifle is not a problem. It soaks up quite a bit of recoil. But when you have to schlep that son of a bitch through the backcountry all day, ounces equal pounds and pounds equal pain. And everywhere you could save ounces means you're going to end up saving pounds, and that's going to be a whole lot less pain at the end of that long walk, right? So around 2001, Winchester introduced what is known as the 300 Winchester Short Magnum, which became a whole family of cartridges that included several other WSMs and some super short Magnums as well. And the whole theory was to be able to use get Magnum rifle performance out of a shorter and thus more compacted, lighter weapon, or at least shorter receiver on a lighter and more compact weapon. So what come about is what's known as the 300 Winchester Short Magnum, .308 bullet. The case is proprietary. It's new. It's using less powder than a 300 Win Mag, but getting quite similar results. Now, there are some issues with this. How do you get that kind of case capacity but make the cartridge shorter? You make the cartridge fatter, which means in a 300 Winchester Short Magnum, you're going to carry less ammunition. Not a big deal from the hunting side, but if you're using this as like a precision, like engagement rifle for anti-personnel use, that can be an issue, which is one of the reasons why I tend to prefer the full-size Magnum. Also, depending on what type of weapon you're using, it's a fatter cartridge, which means you've got to have more material cut out. So you're going to have a like thinner chamber area of the barrel or a fatter barrel, so it could cancel out the weight saving. But it's not a bad cartridge. You just have to understand it's got its limitations. All right. There can be... we'll go into the Delta L problem in detail later, especially if y'all ask about it. But it is very much a Delta L problem cartridge, which, to put it simply, there could be issues with getting the cartridge into the chamber and feeding from the magazine. That's just to put it in a nutshell, okay? And I'll do a video in the future on the Delta L problem. But again, performance very similar to 300 Win Mag. All right, 150 grain bullets at about 3,300, 165s at about 32 and a quarter, 180 grain bullets at about 3,100. So with that, you're getting actually a little bit more than some 300 Win Mag cartridge. 200 grain bullets about 28 and a quarter. So this is absolutely no slouch. It's definitely got the power. It's every bit of right up there with 300 Win Mag. You're looking at about a 64,000 psi chamber pressure. But again, because it is a short cartridge and using less powder, powder typically burns pretty hot. So barrel wear could be an issue in addition to the feeding and chambering issues with it being a Delta L problem cartridge. Rebated rims can cause some issues as well. It's not a bad cartridge, just wouldn't be my first choice.